All right, what's going on, everyone? This is Zen here from Zen Multiverse, and I hope everyone is having a great day. I'm just moving this around, trying to find a good spot to put it. I think right there is good. Uh, yeah. All right. So today we're talking about Defenders Beyond. I think this is an underrated series that a lot of folks are not talking about and don't fully I want to say uh the gravity of it is so high. What's going on, Sergeant? Hope you're having a great day, brother. So we're talking about again, Defenders Beyond, and a lot of folks haven't read Defenders Beyond. It's by Al Ewing and Rodriguez, and they've done something that's quite amazing. Ionic, Ionic, what's going on, brother? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, and if you look in the background, this is the team. Now the book is already done, right? It's five books and it's come to a completion. But um, I think there were like so many other events that folks didn't really jump into this one. Yeah, I like the roster too, and I fell in love with the roster over time. So we have America Chavez, we have Tigra, we have a variant of Loki, which was a prime version of Loki, and I guess is now after we go through the whole entire story, you'll know. And one of my favorite characters of all time, Blue Marvel's on the team, and then we also have Taya, or Taya. I think it's Taya, and she is the mother of Galactus. Right? This is the team, and it is an absolutely amazing team. Director, what's going on, brother? Hope you're doing great. I'm not too sure if the tree is of this is kind of like the end of the book, right? And all right, the reason why I wanted to hop on here and really talk about this is because there's a couple things that happen in the book, and I have a couple of images. I have the book right in front of me too, just to kind of go through it a little bit. But there's something that's pretty amazing. So, just to give you a quick recap of the story itself, I'm going to skip over a lot of things, of course, because the book is really meta, and I love the meta type of storylines that make you question the questions of the question. And yeah, director says film school. Doing great. Film school is doing great. I hope you're doing well as well. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. Can't complain. Um, so we have Doctor Strange, when there was the death of Doctor Strange, he basically made I would say a spell, right? And basically, depending on certain things that would happen, it would bring together a team of defenders, and these are the team of defenders. Yeah, that is the lineup. Alfredo. Yeah, this is the lineup, and they came together and they were very well. Blue Marvel was very reluctant. He's like, I'm not really down with this. No one asked me anything, and no, basically. But they came together anyway, and they basically traversed through the cosmos and met several individuals. Like when I say several individuals, I'm talking about cosmic entities that are like quite capable, like crazy capable. Um, they meet the Phoenix. They meet so many different people, and towards the end of the book, right, they meet the the one above all, right? So it's crazy. So I'm going to show you some images. I might teleport away a little bit, but we're gonna kind of break down some of the things that are happening in uh, this lineup itself, right? Uh, and the storyline and why it's so amazing and why I'm paying attention to certain books by Al Ewing because seemingly he's plotting something like really big. So yeah. Director says this is pretty cool. Yeah, it is. One god for street level. Street level. You think? Wait, who's street level? The only seemingly street level character that I see here, honestly, to be very honest, is Tigra. That is it, and she does her part in this. Yeah, that's about it. Who else do you see at street level here? Yeah, they're all quite capable. And in this, Loki is not the god of trickery, right? He is the god of he's the god of stories, which plays a big part of this, right? Goku solos. Ghost, what's going on, bro? American Chop is the worst street level, but it's all good, I guess. Yeah. America is regular durability, and Tiger and her are brawlers. Yeah, they're brawlers. But I could see America Chavez like playing around with street level stuff, but overall not being street level, right? But I know her powers did wander and waver. And this is part of like what she's trying to do in this series is well, she's trying to do a couple of things in the series. Everyone has their own story, right? Yeah, I would agree, Steve, that everyone here is pretty much like top, 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 top. Even Taya. By the end of this book, she's like, yeah, she's up there. Defenders Beyond is the first comic book line I bought in the last 2 years. Oh, really? Apple, did you enjoy it? I enjoyed it so much. But anyway, let's get into some of the stuff. I'm gonna change. Who's the one in the back? On the right hand side, right under me, that's Taya. She's the mother of of Galactus. And if you read, I think she first premiered in Defenders, basically the Defender story right before this. Yeah. Um, and the same thing with the Loki too. Not the first premiere for that Loki, but they were together. They basically came together in this story. Yeah, Galactus is Mama indeed. Sort of reminds me of the Exiles. Oh, I see you. I see you. I see you. I see that. Yeah, no, no, she's relatively new, I would say. Taya, I think what, 2020 or 21, right? Or 22? I don't know. I feel she's relatively new, right? That we got a story exploration for her and just more information on Galactus's lore, right? I got her runs too. I think I misread the comics. That's all good. Yeah, and the run just finished, so let me just put up another panel for you guys. That's why I'm in like Super Ball face mode, uh, things of that nature. Let me switch it. Sorry, I'm gonna like teleport for a second. Uh, and the Beyonder is in this, right? And he is the main part. But here we go. Okay, so here's where they need Amadeus Cho. That would be great. That would be a great addition. But I think having um Adam Bashir is enough, right? In terms of like the intellectual prowesses on the team itself. So here we go. Here's let me bring my face down. Here's Adam Bashir talking to the one above all, right? And he starts off by saying, and I have the comic book, so I'm looking down at the same time. And he basically said it's time to meet God. And then the one above all says, I see many eyes, I build many hands. They are themselves, but they are also mine. I am all powerful. My only weapon is love. The mystery intrigues me. I am as I am. I will be I will be what I will be. I am the one above all. So then Adam Bashir's like, hmm. He's like, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's true. Like that's crazy already. It's like, what? What do you mean? I don't think that's true. So then the one above all says, and you are Adam Cadman. Tell me where were you when I laid these foundations? So then he sends like a horde of different just like monsters and things like that. And here are the monsters. And now, those of you who had read comic books for a long time know that we've seen these, like in Journey into Mystery. So he goes way back, right, and bringing together some, and they're quite powerful monsters. It's not like these are little joke things, you know what I mean? And so the team is basically just handling them, right? They are handling them to the best of their ability, doing their thing. Taya look on the lower right hand side, looking nice and thick. Uh, and it's just amazing so far. But then we get back into the conversation, right? And this is the one that I it gets pretty meta here. And I just want to know everyone's thought on this. The guy, goddamn, I know. I'm about to tell Galactus, like, bro, can I talk to your mom? So then here we go, right? I'm gonna read it because I don't think that you guys can see all of the right hand side of the wording. So then the one above all, they do their thing. It's not really like they beat them. It's just like they come to a standstill, and basically the one above all is willing to listen to Adam Bashir. So he says, "Speak then, if you have an understanding." And then the Adam Bashir, like in conversations like this, it proves why he can't be doing like Earth things anymore. Like he needs to do cosmic base level things, and we've known this since the Ultimates, right? Um, he says, "There's no power we can reach above yours. Yours, you are as high as we can go that defies you. But does that truly make you above all?" And then he says, "This is the beginning of the journey, isn't it? The beginning of what you represent." It's like, what? Looks the same as the diagram of Ian's. Yes, it does. It does. It does. This is weird that the one above all is not Stan Lee now. And here's the thing: we may and here I'm gonna keep on going, because I have to like let my thoughts out and then see what you guys think about it. Um, then the one above all says, "The place where the world of action ends and the world of creation begins." And then Adam Bashir says, "And what creates creation? Above everything, even your creators, is there a final guiding hand? Can there be? Do you know one above all?" So number one, let's freeze right there for a second. So Adam Bashir basically questions him and says, like, do you really know like everything? Like what creates creation? And if you are the creator, what created you? And I think this is a meta question that a lot of us ask, right? Even in religion, not to get in religion, but like who created God? Who's above that, right? Ryan, what's going on, bro? And I think this comes in two forms. Either they're acknowledging that there is a creator for the one above all, which is the comic creators and things of that nature, or they're saying that there is something above the one above all in the cosmic landscape. And if that's true, that is disgustingly crazy. The reason why I'm leaning towards the former is because of the way the book ends, right? So the one above all then replies to Adam Bashir and he says, "The mystery intrigues me, Adam. That whole question about being above some, like what creates the creator, right? And does he know?" And then he says, "I have my answer from you. What do you wish from me?" Okay, so that sounds very confusing a little bit. Um, but basically, it's like why you're here, right? Why are you here? I know why you're here. You gave me a question to really ponder and to think about. This is the one above all now thinking through this, right? So then he says, "What do you want from me?" Um, and then Taya says, let me skip to the panel so that you guys could see. Um, yeah. So then so then Taya says, "My son." And then he says, your son of is of my design, Taya of Ta, but you cannot return to your cosmos with that knowledge." So basically, he's saying you can't go back to your cosmos with the knowledge that you currently have right now. Like it's just no, because then you'll work on prevention and you'll change things the way that they were supposed to be because it is of his design. Thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate you. The art is freaking amazing. Yeah, it is so good. It reminds me of the Jack Kirby days, right? And then the storytelling is just like whatever is happening on Earth is nowhere close to on scale on what's happening right now. We could surmise that what's happening with the Sins of Sinister stuff can lead up to a possibility. a possible gravity level because there's a constant reset that's happening. But like they're literally this team, right? Imagine Tigra, who's a street level character, is talking to the one above all. Many characters have not even met the one above all. This is crazy, right? Yeah, I was thinking it looks like Jack Kirby style. Is that the one above all? It is King. It is. I like how he's kind of doing a living tribunal type of thing because but basically they're just showing that he's looking in all directions to all of them, no matter where they are. That omnipotent instinct. And then America Chavez says, "My sister, I want my sister back." Basically, they're asking because the one above all, again, those of you who just popped in, asks like, "What do you guys want from me?" And he's saying, and he's not really he's giving them answers, um, but not really giving them. So we already know America Chavez is always look for. It is crazy to me. Always wanted her sister back. So he says, "You will find her and more." And he says, "Nothing that was made is ever lost, America Chavez." Ah, boy. All right, so let's continue. Tigra, she says, "Honestly, I just want to go home, my boy." And then he says, "You will, Tigra, when the storyteller chooses." And this is reference to Loki right now, because Loki is the god of stories. This version of Loki is the god of stories. This is actually probably my favorite version of Loki. Um, so let's continue, right? And then Tiger says, "The storyteller, is that you?" It's not though. It's not. It's really Loki. Loki is doing a great amount of the narration. Thanks for the rage. Thanks for the follow. So then Adam Bashir then says, he says the defenders have a mission to complete first. If above all is the limit of our understanding, there's still something beyond that limit. And that's the mission Eternity gave us, which is true. Eternity gave them this mission to see the face of Eternity's enemy. So there is an enemy of Eternity coming, right? Um, so basically, he's like, we gotta go, right? One above all, he said what he said, he meant what he said, and it's time for them to go. But the one above all does show them something else, which I'm going to show you right now. I wish I could show you a little bit better, but uh, it the image doesn't pan out really well. So the one above all says, "Then behold and take understanding you can." So basically, I'm going to show you something, but you have to create the understanding from this, right? And he says, "The grail at the end of the quest is a single glimpse of the enigma to come." Okay. Um, so then Tiger says, "My God, what? What are we looking at?" And then Adam Bashir says, "A translation of what our minds can hold, something vast coming for our reality, a crown above all things." So because of this, because of that alone, a crown above all things made me go back to thinking that they weren't talking about the creator of the creator as like the comic book creators, that there is something above the one above all. Maybe this is just a theory, right? So what I'm going to do right quick, because I know you guys can't see the whole entire picture, and I would really love for you all to see the whole entire picture. I'm just going to take this off for a second so that you can see the comic. So let me pan back a little bit. So here we go. So this is what they're showing. Autistic Geek, what's going on? A long time, brother. So this is the crown. You couldn't see that in that panel just a while ago, but this is the whole entire thing. Now I'm gonna close up on some of these. Now it gets very meta at the same time, so I'm gonna close up. Now, if you look at this picture, type in the comic book I said it in the comic book in the comic section. The comment I can't talk. The comment section. What do you see in this picture? At least in this angle, right? And I think this is going to into like society a little bit, like some things that are seemingly corrupt, right? A quagmire. Yes. I'm seeing the empty hand. Imagine, yo, yo. Imagine the empty head comes up. Sloth, right? Because we're seeing like we know this is representative of like McDonald's, right? And it's upside down. That's why they put a W, right? Not a Quagmire, but the burger on the left looks like Quagmire. Oh, okay, I see. I see. I see. And then we get to the middle. The middle picture kind of looks like a dismal version of the world, right? So the one so King says so the one above all is confirming he is the highest being just under the creators. Yes. Yes, but it still questions are they referring to comic book um are they referring to the comic book creators, or are they referring to a brand new echelon of uh cosmic beings that are more than multiversal, right? You know what I mean? um and the reason why there's two reasons why I'm still holding on to that, and I'll get you in a little bit. Fast food, but the destroyer is healthy food. uh Dr. Manhattan did say Superman will save in Doomsday from Hulk. Ha! Imagine if this is leading into a crossover. But then we have the fire, right? Dismal, right? And then we have just looks nasty. But if you look really closely, everything that's going on right here, yeah, it's just a whole bunch of people wrapped around. They're just kind of like falling like pawns. And then we have more cosmic action going on right here, right? Um, okay, let's get back to it. They said a secret crisis is happening. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, actually, no, I wasn't thinking about secret crisis, but I am going back to the Black Winter stuff and how we saw silhouettes of certain characters. Damn, yeah, I know, director, and I love it. Oh my goodness. I think some of you know, like, my favorite type of comic books are the ones that get very, very meta and have you questioning the questioning of the questions. Mag, what's going on, brother? Hope everyone's doing good. All right, let me get back into it. I'm gonna go into circle face mode. That way, you guys, if I need to go back to the comment, I'll show you guys. Let me see. Am I here? Oh, nope, it's not that one. Sorry if I'm like teleporting a little bit. All right, cool. Okay, so here we go. So anytime there's green, if you look on the upper, just right here, let me scroll up. Anytime you see like the green action going on, that's Loki being the narrator. Okay. So, all right. Yeah, they do this so beautifully. I don't know why. I don't know if the reading was too dense for some people and a lot of people are not talking about it, but and when I say dense, it just means like it's for some people this type of writing is kind of convoluted and just like too much of it, and they don't flow with that, which I respect. But for me, I'm like, give me more. Yes, him being the narrator means that he controls the story. When did the Phoenix have a son? So she does get so Ty so Taya does get the Phoenix Force in this and goes against Blue Marvel, but she reverts back to this version, right? Of just Ta, and her son is Galactus. So, all right, let me read what I have so far. So basically, after all of them seeing the crown and questioning it, basically it's called at least Adam Bashir says, a crown above all things. It's crazy. And it literally, the picture shows a crown all together throughout all of, I guess, eternity itself, right? Above all things, right? Adam Bashir says, but it's up to us to decode the cosmic symbolism, which that's what I'm trying to do too, right? Like, what does the crown symbolize? And I think some of us were decoding it just now, right? Uh, some of that gluttonous action. It could represent the different sins too, right? Huh. That just came to my head because someone mentioned who mentioned the gluttony just now, and then the narration comes in from Loki. Okay, the crown of the one above all. Huh. Got to get breakfast started, brother. But I'm glad I was able to catch. See you later, my brother. Enjoy breakfast. So Loki says, and then this is where I re-enter the narrative. He says, philosophical debate with the Almighty might be Adam's idea of good time, but riddles, I know riddles. He says, well, the last time we saw a crown was in Strange's magical tarot pack, and they did. This is closer to the beginning. They did see a crown when they were looking at the tarot cards, the tarot cards. And then he says, so whenever we saw, we know it's not a sword, cup, coin, or staff, or any other suits. So where there are four, look for the fifth business. Not too sure what that fully means. And then he says, in narration mode, but I also know better to give away the whole answer after all. So it makes it seem like he knows, but he's not going to give away the answer. And then in narration, Loki, storyteller, god of stories, says, what kind of story God spoils the ending? And then he's talking to them in regular mode, right? And he says, anyway, we're done. I gave the multiverse what it wanted, the defenders. Now it's time for me to get what I want. It's time for me to go. Okay. So then let me switch it up so you guys can see because it was confusing. I didn't know what he meant, like it's time to go. Now, if you look around, we see a whole bunch of different things. And then Loki, and then Taya says, go? Like, what are you talking about? Loki says, from this house, from the crown of creations, I can step outside the multiverse entirely. JW, what's going on? So he's basically saying, I can leave the multiverse. And he said, leave the story forever, make my own way. And they're literally talking about escaping the comic book. Leave the story forever, make my own. It's it's why I forced us on this trip in the first place. My last adventure. And then he says, "Yo, what's going on, Jeff? Not much. Happy Sunday, brother. Happy Sunday to you, brother." America Chavez says, "You can't just leave." And then Loki says, "Why not? It's not like I leave anything missing." He said, "I saw the Loki of the eighth cosmos before I started," which is our Loki, right? Main timeline Loki. And then he says, before I started, and he's doing fine. Great. Better than expected. Because current Loki is currently you know, leading over Jotunheim right now. He's good. It is nice to see Tiger in comics. Uh, he's gonna meet Arthur. I'm hyped. Uh, and then he says, so he can be the real Loki, right? And I'll have been a variant on a theme. I love this, right? Because it gives this Loki is not supposed to be the main Loki, right? But seemingly he's doing main Loki type stuff. But he's like, nah, I'm gonna leave this, right? I'm good. I'm gonna be my version. I'm gonna, I'll leave the real Loki to do what he's doing, and I'll be a variant. And he says everyone's happy, and I'm free. Today is happy birthday. Everyone say happy birthday to Ja. Happy birthday, brother. Uh, that says so like the Fantastic Four did back then. Kind of, yeah, kind of. So much Def King. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. But there's more though. There's more. So no, this is technically not main Loki. Uh, this is not main Loki. This is a version of Loki that became the anything that happened with the girl Loki within. You remember when Loki became? There was different variations of Loki, and he became uh, a girl version of Loki, right? Cool. And basically, around that time, that Loki got sucked away, right? And basically, by this spell that Doctor Strange had put, leading into this storyline, and then we get this version of Loki who's currently here, right? No, yo, yo, Timmy, yo, Blue Marvel. I'm not even looking at Blue Marvel as a powerhouse anymore. Just the conversational level of this character. I feel like since his first appearance, by Kevin Grievous, who was the creator of Adam Bashir, Al Ewing has done a really great job of really continuing the character and expanding his mental prowesses. Him being able to question the one above all and have a conversation and make the one above all think about things that he's, I guess, seemingly never thought about is crazy. Yeah, he is a concept now. So he says, I'm free. So then Cloud is here. Cloud is representative of a character that we've seen in the previous Defenders book. So I won't really get into it, but Cloud says, you could be if you wanted. And then Loki says, Cloud? And Cloud says, after everything you've been through, it's a fair choice, but it's still a choice, which I think is pretty fair too. Everything that Loki's done up to this point, this version of Loki, has been pretty amazing. So for him to say, I'm ready to leave, this is my last hurrah. Uh, I just want the freedom. I just want freedom. I think that's a fair choice, right? Like, what do you guys think? Like, do you think that's fair, or do you think there's more for this Loki to do? Before I get to the next panel. Super 20, what's going on? Yeah, I'm doing it. Sunday is at like 12 o'clock. King says, yeah, yeah, it is. I think it's fair too. I think it's pretty fair. It's like you've done so much. You deserve the chance to basically just go on a vacation, a well-earned vacation, right? And this vacation comes in the form of freedom itself, right? Um, but I remember we're not reading the whole entire book, and remember at the start of this live, I did say that the Beyonder is also here, right? Um, and this is the Beyonder from Secret Wars, right? Which I would love to say the main Beyonder, right? For lack of better words. So then Tigra, the Beyonder pops up out of nowhere, and they fought with the Beyonder and Beyonders too, and then Tiger says, "Now you walk in here, Beyonder." After the fight with those monsters, the fight with the monsters are the ones that the one above all sent after them, right? Which is representative of like some just amazing, powerful beings that we saw in like Journey into Mystery and all the old school like comic books and things of that nature. And then Taya says, Mr. Omnipotent, only here when we don't need him. They're coming at my boy. They're coming at the Beyonder. Yeah, this is the old school Beyonder. And then he says, what? He said you were hitting things and shooting rays. Superheroes love hitting things and shooting rays. And then Loki says, they do. But back to the matter at hand, which is true. It's like Loki's talking about some like heavy stuff, right? I'm thinking so too. I'm thinking so too. Uh, the the rainbow. Who's the rainbow here? That's Cloud. The lower left, like the design. Lower left. Lower left. You mean over here? This is Loki. America Chavez is here. Right here. This is Cloud. Right here. Yeah, that's Cloud. I feel like doing a whole run on the previous defenders leading up to this defenders run. I probably got to do some like videos. It is so good. It is so good. Yeah, that's Cloud. Yep. In the box. Oh, in the box that's Adam Bashir. That's Blue Marvel. Yeah. So then here's this is why yo Blue Marvel. No, that's not Dr. Manhattan. That's Blue Marvel. So then he says, they do back to the matter at hand. And he says, what exactly is my choice, Cloud? Because Cloud says you do have a choice to go back in there. And when they're saying go back in there, they're referring to the current cosmos, their cosmos, basically their universe, right? And then Cloud says to pick up where you left off, do your duty as the god of stories, as a defender of eternity, and to fight to save everything. It's It's hard, right? It's hard because basically Cloud is saying like, hey, you could get the freedom that you want, right? You can make the choice right now, or you could choose to stay as the God of stories and the defender of all eternity. What do you do, right? What would you guys do? I'm curious. What would you guys do? Would you seek the freedom to escape the current cosmos? And what it seems like is like him escaping, he would be up, he would be right next to me. That kind of thing. You know what I mean? He would escape his cosmos. He would escape the story that he's currently in, and or he can go back and be the defender of eternity. Is it just me or does Loki look like a woman? This is she is a woman. This is a version of Loki that is a woman. Yes, you know, you got it right. Yes, absolutely. Loki has been through a lot. He deserves to transcend talking to us. Yeah. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yeah, she is talking to us. Oh my bad. I thought Loki was a man the whole time. I know it gets kind of it gets kind of crazy, Superman 20, because this is a version of Loki who became a woman um in like past comic books, and that one got brought into this storyline and is the god of stories. But we're gonna let me continue because some things will get cleared up. So Loki says, you gotta be kidding. I'm one step away from true freedom, which he really is, like literally. And you want me to go back in, nail myself into that box, actually be the prime Loki of the eighth cosmos? So this is them saying like he'll be the main Loki. And he says, I will never have this chance again. Do you understand what you're asking me here? It's crazy. So then at the bottom, the lower right hand side, he says, Adam Bashir says, uh, a Buddha Vista vow. Do you guys know what a Buddha Vista vow is? And sorry if I pronounce the name wrong. So let's go on to the next panel. Okay. Uh, and then let me know what you guys think before I go on. And if you don't know, that's cool too, right? Those of you who watch like The Journey to the West and you know about the Monkey King and just about Buddhism itself, you'll understand what this is. But Loki's like, what? He said, you don't know the story of Kista Garava? I know I pronounced that wrong, so sorry. He says, Kisti Garava vowed not to attain Buddhahood until all hells were emptied, because there is no enlightenment until all are enlightened. And then he says, there is no freedom until all is free. So basically, what he's saying is like, Loki, you could leave, but everyone won't be free. You'll be the only one who is free. And what's the sense of being free if you're the only one who is free? Exactly. No, 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 no. Kisis is not the Monkey King. If we were to look in the Monkey King story, that would be the priest, not the priest. The Yeah, it would be the one that the Monkey King protects, right? Um, so then Loki then says, "Is a Loki gonna be a Loki?" We'll see. We'll see, right? So then he says, "It's too much. I can't save everyone from their status quo. I can barely save myself. Reality wants me in an old shape, which is the shape he's currently in right now. It wants it it wants to make me what I used to be." So like that line alone is so powerful, right? Because he says it's too much. I can't save everyone from their status quo. I can barely save myself. And this is kind of like what people go through, right? It's like you're trying to do the best you can for yourself, but people are asking you to basically try to save others, right? It's kind of like when a friend or a couple of people call you up and they're like going through something and they need advice, but at the same time you're just so drained and you're like, geez, like can someone help me out for a change kind of thing? But this is on, of course, an astronomically higher level, where Loki's like I can't save everyone, right? And this is the question where it's like, you know, you can't save everyone, but you still seek means to try to save everyone. Um, and the currently he's saying the universe wants him in this old shape, reality, which is the shape that he's currently in. Uh, so King asks a really great question. Do you think Loki will cease to be in Marvel if she can escape the story? So that's the thing, right? So the application of where they are in terms of reality, what would happen if they escape the current reality that they're in? Would they now um be, skin and flesh like us, or would they only return to the creator? This is a question that I've asked, right? Anyone who seeks to escape the comic book within the comic book landscape, when they escape, are they escaping to then be um a real person, or are they escaping back to be a part of the subconscious of the creator themselves? And the creator themselves happens to be the creator of the comic book. So for example, Al Ewing is writing this. So does this version of Loki, if he leaves the comic book, now go back to Al Ewing? Now these are not questions that people normally ask, but I asked them because I love stuff like this. Uh, this Loki is pulling the ultimate trick. I love it. A trick of enlightenment. So then Superman 20 says, so Loki is the god of story. Is he like the Jor-El of Marvel? No, 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 no. He surpasses that like a million times. At least in this situation. Yeah. Um, so then he says, so then Cloud says to him, Do you think it can do you think it can, God of stories? Do you think it didn't try? And then Loki says, if I did go back, I couldn't even let myself know. Okay. He says, until the time was right. He's saying like if I go back, I can't let myself know. So if I'm gonna be the prime version of Loki, I can't let my version of myself know everything that went down until the time is right. Uh I'd have to forget, work behind my own scenes, play the ultimate trick. And then he says at the lower right hand side, he says, tricking the trickster, the trick and the trickster, tricking myself. The only trick worth playing. All right, let me go to the comments. Of course, I'm on 6%. He said the answer, W says the answer they go to be with Stan Lee and like the they go. What happened to male Loki? Male Loki is still good. He's still in the storyline. JW says also Kirby. Um, would she essentially become part of the creator in a way? Is Stan Lee the one above all? They haven't said Stan Lee is the one above all. We could surmise that it's it is Stan Lee or Jack Kirby or a combination, but they haven't like said that. Um, would she essentially be a part of the creator? See, that's where we're gonna get into. So I'm about to switch the panel right now for you guys. I'm on 6%. Of course, I'm on 6% in terms of my battery. So now we switch it up, and then you guys can't see some of the wording, but at the top, Loki is now. See, it gets very meta here, right? So that's the way it goes. And then he says, "Well, why not fight to save everything? Sounds fun." Which is basically the representation of more comics to come, right? And then the Beyonder says, "See, sorry." The Beyonder then says, wait, you had your chance to escape and you're choosing to return to the world, to your place in it? And then Loki's like looking up to him and he's like, with knowledge, Cloud's right. I got a duty. I got a duty of care. I'm a storyteller. What else can I do? And then the one above all says this. So let me switch the panel for you guys. Uh, so he basically, the one above all, rips the page apart. And then he says, sorry, defenders, but Loki wasn't the only one looking for a way out. He says, you think I want to go back to the second cosmos after I've seen everything? I'm not just another Beyonder. I am the Beyonder. So he's literally ripping her page the comic book. It's crazy. He's outside of a reality of that story within the comic book, but he's not fully in our reality, right? It's crazy. So then he says, I'm the definite article and I'll return to my own world on my terms. And then Loki as narrator, which is the god of stories, he says his voice is lost in the sound of realities tearing, not not that he cares. And then he says the Beyonder story is just starting. This is the god of stories, which is Loki talking, right? To us. He says, but ours is coming to an end. We're tumbling right back down, right back into eternity, which is their cosmos. And then the next thing I know, let me switch the panel for you guys. I love this story so much. Oh my goodness. I didn't even switch it. I thought I switched it, but I didn't. Okay. Oh, I went too fast. Hold on, team. Hold on. Okay. And then he says, next thing I know, it's now. So this is current Loki. This is current Loki, right? But remember, and he says, and then Loki looks up and he says, "Oh." And then in the story format, God of Loki, he says, and now I'm in Jotunheim where I rule. I've been busy. I am the Loki of the eighth cosmos, as much as I was the Loki that saw out the seventh. And that means I've had a lot of adventures. And I remember them. I remember them all. This is hype. The reason why is because you remember we were talking previously, and Loki said, I he said if I'm gonna become the Loki, the Loki can't know until the time is right. And he says, and apparently he's always been that version of Loki, but the time wasn't right yet until now. This is hype because he remembers everything, all adventures that he went on when he was part of the Defenders Beyond, which is outside of time and reality and all that stuff. No, so there isn't two Lokis anymore. This is the Loki. He is the prime Loki. He has it. He's not the variant Loki. He is the version of Loki that we've always been reading, at least up to this point in like the Thor comic books and the King of Jotunheim. But he just now remembered suddenly everything, right? Based on what the Beyonder did in ripping the page and them returning back to reality, returning back to eternity. They've returned back, right? Yeah, he remembers being a woman. He remembers all of that, right? Uh, but then he says, but in particular, I remember something. This is the part that we didn't talk about during the comic book because this is in the previous one. He says that I've been carrying the Eternity Mask around with me this whole time. The Eternity Mask is a powerful item that basically grants you the power to confront whoever you're going against on equal level. Yeah, so that's what that basically is. The Beyonder is being a child again, for real, for real. So then he says, that's the way it goes. Fight to save everything from everything until all are free. And then at the bottom, you see at the lower right hand side at the bottom, he says, "Yeah, it does sound like fun." Which it does, right? He's doing his thing. Yo, I'm loving Loki. I never used to love this character until the Loki TV show, but they've been writing him in a more heroic way, but still in the trickery fashion, but not being a bad guy, which is pretty amazing. Team, I have to do something right now. I have to charge my. You guys are gonna hear me in a really weird fashion in a little bit, because I have to charge my phone. But I don't want to. Uh, hold on. This is me like putting together some things right now. All right, team. I'm gonna charge my phone at the same time, plugging this out. Hold on, team. Hope. Okay, is that charging? Hopefully it doesn't die. It's on 1% now. I hope it really doesn't die. Wow, that. Can you guys hear me really good? Just let me know. Just type in Y if you can hear me. Good. I know with this splice cord, it does delay me though. Marvel does comics too well. Yeah. Okay, you can hear me good. Okay. All right, cool. Let me see. Just get to 2%, please. Please. Because I want to finish up the story with you guys. We're doing like a full rundown review on this. Definitely wanted to share this book with you all if you haven't read it. It's really amazing. Not a lot of people are talking about it, which I'm really surprised. Or maybe there isn't a lot of people that I've sought out, right? So yeah, Loki's hyped. I'm hyped. He's like, let's do this, basically. So let's get into the next panel. And I didn't show all panels of this book. I'm kind of like skipping through a little bit. So then we're back with Adam Bashir, and he's back at his base of operations, right? Remember, everyone fell down back to eternity, which is basically kind of like they've returned back to where they are. And then he says, well, we're all accounted for. And they are. He's basically saying, like, hey, we're all good. Tiger's back in New York, right? She made it back home. She's got some business with Moon Knight, and Monica tells me America's busy with the Thunderbolts. And then Loki's presumably the same one ruling Jotunheim, which is, I'm not too sure if he's saying Loki's presumably the same one ruling Jotunheim, like Loki is ruling, it's the original Loki, but now we know that Loki that we just saw that went through all of the adventures from the Defenders Beyond with all of that knowledge is now one and the same as the current Loki who rules Jotunheim. So they're part and parcel to the same being. It's not like he's a variant and then we never saw that version. He is Loki. This is all new to me. I'm a noob, but it's very confusing. No, 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 no. It is quite confusing. I had to read this a couple of times. But I loved reading it a couple of times. And then he says, and then there's you, Taya. I guess you didn't have a place to go, which she can't. She can't go back to her to Ta, her world of Ta, because that universe is gone, right? And then she says, you know, the one above all never said you couldn't go home, just that you couldn't keep your knowledge of the cosmos. So she could go back in time to where she currently was, but she couldn't go with the knowledge that she currently has. And then Taya says, I must keep it. So, and then she says, what kind of mother would I be to forget my son, which she now knows is Galactus, to hide from his pain in the past? Basically, she's saying, I'm not going to go to the past just to hide from the pain so that I could be with him, for that sake. She says, I may meet the Devourer yet, meaning she hasn't met him as Galactus. She knows of him, but she hasn't met him. And until then, I can work for this new cosmos as its defender. So Ta is currently like in the main timeline, right? She's staying here for a little bit, or probably indefinitely. Um, and then he says, Adam Bashir says, right, until further notice, I've got to assume the spell that brought us together is still running, waiting to activate again at the next cosmic emergency. And all we can do is be ready, so the next time we're not caught by surprise. Eternity's enemy, the Enigma, is out there. So that's who it is apparently, and we saw the crown as well, but they're titling it because they bold it. The Enigma is out there, but so are we. And if Eternity needs defenders, well, we're not a team. And then let's switch over to the next panel. I'm digging this book so much. He says we're not a team, we're a universe. And then the book ends right there. It's just a Riddler. So then it ends right there. Um, which this is kind of a picture of like old Defenders, right? That we've seen before, things of that nature. But he's basically saying we're more than just a team, right? The whole universe is ready at the time being. And then it leads us, then the next page basically brings us to the close with this amazing artwork, which I started the live with. Um, Let me switch, go back with this one. This is where we started the live, and we're here, right? Um, yeah, that's it. So, what are your thoughts, team? This is probably one of my favorite stories of all time because it got so meta. Um, I know I didn't cover everything. Uh, Basically, this is the last book, not books one through. Uh, I'm very confusion. It's really good though. Uh, those are some young, old school looking panels. Yeah, amazing story. Agreed. So anything that Al Ewing is doing, I'm paying very close attention and I'm reading. So the next book, I'm not going to review it here because I have to reread it and I have to get number two. I read number two on. Oh, I wish it was an ongoing series. I really wish. It's probably going to pick up in the next Defenders. Here's the first Defender story. I have it on my wall. This is just one with Silver Surfer Cumber. But it was 5 books. It's 5 books. It's really good. But I would recommend that you start with the Defenders. This one is by Al Ewing as well. This one is the previous story that came out right before. And right after this, I don't know. I'm reading Monica Rambeau Photon right now. And it's by Al Ewing as well, and for Forelli. And the reason why I'm reading it is because anything that Al Ewing does, he usually does connect. He makes connections, and there's something that happens in the second book of Photon. She does see the Beyonder, and he looks quite different. And we know that the Beyonder he left. It seemed like he just left, but where was he going, right? And does he meet up with Monica Rambeau, who seemingly did something that's akin to Flashpoint? She's like flying through the cosmos and something happens and changes. Or either she changes stuff or she reaches somewhere and she sees alternate versions and she also sees the Beyonder, which is the true Beyonder, but he looks vastly different. He takes up a brand new form. So I'm definitely reading that, and I'm really hyped to see where it goes next. You guys were saying like Secret Crisis, things of that nature. Let me go back to the comments. That says that reminds me so much of the Lucifer comic. Crazy, yeah, yeah, because they were very meta, right? And they were talking to the presence and things of that nature. Uh, Let me see. Beyonder's always been a mixed bag of problems. Indeed. Indeed. Superman 20 said the Beyonder looked like GT Vegeta's final form, but a Silver Surfer. uh, no, no, no. This is Silver Surfer in this book. The cover is just a variant cover that I got because I loved it, so I just got it. It reminded me of Silver Surfer Black, which is another great series to get to know more about Silver Surfer, but also to get to know a lot about the origin story of Galactus himself, right? And how he came on the Lifebringer, and how Ego, the Living Planet, did play a really crucial part in him being okay. Yeah. So this is let me see. I'm gonna show you guys a quick picture of the Avengers team. I said Avengers, the Beyonder. Keep you wondering in such a great way. Yeah, exactly, King. And that's why I love this book so much because it has me thinking, right? Uh, so here's the Defenders, the one prior to this one, and here was the lineup. We have the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange. We have the Mask Rider, who has the Eternity Mask, right? The attorney mask grants you the ability to be. So he's the. Let me just read the what they have here. The mysterious bearer of the Eternity Mask, an ancient artifact made from the substance of the cosmic entity Eternity, and it makes the bearer just as powerful as they need to be, right? Um, and then we have the Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is in this, right? And then we have Harpy. She was an interesting inclusion. And then we have Cloud, which we just saw in this book. And then towards the end of the book, they have more members who join, and they have Taya. They meet her. This is her first appearance. Her first appearance is in this book. Is my comment muted? I don't see a muted comment. The last one I saw was the GT Goku one. GT Vegeta. And they when they first appear to her, they basically go back to uh where she was first where she first came about, right? On Ta, the planet Ta, and they talk about the Devourer. So there is a Devourer that predates Galactus on his original universe, and this comes in the form of Omnimax, which is crazy. So they do go like all of this happens in book one. It's a really great story that leads into Defenders Beyond, right? Because we see a lot of the cast members because they do meet the Loki that we saw in Defenders Beyond in Defenders. Do you have the new Predator arc? Yeah, I finished it. I finished it. It's finished. At least that arc is finished. In March, they're coming out with a new Predator series. I think it's called Hunting Grounds. It's going to be pretty amazing. I love the Predator series. I've been covering it. I'm probably going to do a video a little bit later. I probably might break it up into the 15 and 16 or 15 and 16. Or I just might do a 2 minute video, a 2 to 3 minute video to just kind of wrap it up. Do you have a favorite Marvel character? Wait, oh, I missed some comments. Sorry, guys. So, is it a new team in each book? It's seemingly a new team in each book, but there were some crossover characters. There were some characters that carried over, which was I was not expecting, because usually it is a brand new team, right? All the time. And in this situation, they carried over Loki, and was that it? And Taya. So Taya and Loki came together at the start of the series. They came through the portal together as if they were the best of friends. But they had adventures together, which was in the previous Defenders. Um, but honestly, I want this team back. I honestly just want this team back. I don't even want a brand new team. Maybe new additions to the team, but or maybe it's like the old team, the old Defenders team, right? Prior to this book. So since Doctor Strange is now back and he's not unalive now, I want him back. I want Silver Surfer back. I would even want Harpy back, right? And everyone else who was part of that team to combine with this team. It would be so poetic. Yeah. Do you have a favorite Marvel character? Currently, right now, it would have to be Adam Bashir, the Blue Marvel. Yeah. And it wanders and wavers. For a long time, it is Adam Bashir. Anytime I read a really good book and they really propel the character in a different light that is akin to, I guess, storylines that I want to see, right? It gets me really hyped. Because, yeah, Adam Bashir is like truly capable and powerful. He defeated a facsimile of a Beyonder. When I say a facsimile, that's not the right word. He defeated a Beyonder in a physical platform, right? But you know that they're just taking up physical a physical body at the time, uh, but it's not fully defeating them, kind of thing. Do you have so yeah, it's Adam Bashir. Superman 20 says, I want to see who that white guy was. Who? The one in this one? This is Silver Surfer. Humans are getting their get back. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Oh, you mean like over the cosmic beings and things like that? Yeah. Um, so in terms of like Defenders Beyond and what happened, it was just like an eye-opening book. They didn't really save anything, but they learned of a pending crisis of sorts, right? Not to use like a DC terminology, but yeah, that's coming up. Oh, Alien versus Predator. Humans are getting their get back. Yeah, in the one you mean the one that's coming out in March, the Predator series that's coming out, Hunting Grounds. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's coming out in March. Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for it. Because I thoroughly enjoyed this Predator series by Marvel Comics. Uh, I love the way it ended. It seemed to come to a conclusion. Um, oh, is it? It's a game. Yeah, I know it's a game, but let me see. Hold on, I'm looking it up right here. My B day can't wait. Oh, in March, new Predator series. Maybe I used the wrong name. We need a new Prey too. A new because Prey did really well. Let me see. New Predator comic. It's not called Hunting Grounds. Why did I call it Hunting Grounds? That just came. Enter a deadly game with the most. Yeah, this one comes out in March. It's just labeled Predator. I mean, it's written by Ed Brisson. Art is Netho Diaz. March 8th, it's coming out. I'm going to show you guys the cover real quick so you guys can see. Let me turn around my cam. Flip the camera. Here we go. Here's the cover for the new Predator series that's coming out in March. And here's the one that I've been reading. Yeah, which is just labeled Predator. But it's been really good. Really, really, really good. I definitely enjoyed it thoroughly. I wish it continued, but it's a good ending. It's the ending for that character that we've been following, which her name is Theta. She does end up getting she meets up with the three mandible predator, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so yeah, that's Defenders Beyond. I'm gonna be reading more Photon. Um, I'll probably do a photon next week Sunday. We'll probably cover number one and two. Let me see when three comes out. That way we could kind of continue. Or do you want next week Sunday that I cover the original Defenders book and we make our way to Defenders Beyond, and then we make our way to Monica Rambeau Photon, kind of similar to like how we did it today. Let me see. When does Photon? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, she did get her. She did. Theta. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I love this shirt. I saw someone wearing it on IG when I was on their live, and I was like, oh man. And then I saw it at Target, and I was like, yep, game time. You should read my comment up there. It's pretty funny. Which one is that? Uh, they better not make the comic lag as bad as the game. Oh man, I never played the game. I played the demo. Yeah, I played the demo. So yeah, technically I did play the game. Uh, and that's about it. Oh, it comes out February 15th. Al Ewing. Wait, Eve Ewing? Eve Ewing is writing this? Is that his sister? Is that Al Ewing's sister? That's interesting. Oh man, Sinister Sinister, I gotta cover that too. Yeah, I gotta cover that too. I'm kind of like breaking apart my lives because I realized that I kind of burnt myself out trying to do like multiple lives. So that's why I'm doing one on Sunday. I might do a Saturday one Um, and I might do Sins of Sinister as one of them. Did I play Midnight Suns? I no, I haven't. I was a level 150 and had max level stuff. Uh, I didn't play Midnight Suns. Would you recommend it? Was it really good? Is it RPG style? I didn't know how I felt. I heard it got really good reviews though, but I just didn't play it. Um, any words for someone looking to make their own comic book characters? Oh, that's a great question. I would say, uh, if I had any recommendations, I would just say like just write the character, and then um, whether you could draw or not, just draw the character, as long as you put it your whole heart and soul into it. And because look at like, I'm looking at like manga, like I know you asked about comic books, but look at mangas like One Punch Man, right? One, who's the creator of One Punch Man, he really couldn't, he considered himself not to be able to draw, right? And he just did the best he can and came up with an amazing story. And then eventually they did get, they redid this series with better drawing and things like that. But the point I'm trying to bring across is that the story is what really overrided the actual drawing of the character. So you just got to do what you got to do and have the passion for doing it without stopping, even when times get rough, right? When the times get rough, you just keep on going, right? I can't draw either. I could do some things, I could kind of dabble in it, but when it comes to like shadowing and shading and all the technical terms that folks just know how to do naturally, I don't know how to do them. For me, I'm writing a book and I've been writing it for a while and I've taken many breaks on the book for a while. Um, and I don't know if I want it to become a comic book or it's just going to be a story. I think it's just going to be a story because it was meant to be a book. But yeah, I think when I get more enlightened throughout the years, I add more to the characters and things of that nature, right? Is it on PC or which one? Midnight Suns? I know it's on PlayStation. I don't know about the other system. Midnight Suns is a mobile game. It may be on mobile. I just know that it's on PS5. It's a turn-based, but it's very well done and story's amazing. Ah, okay. King of Sleep says, I can't draw. Yeah, I started writing the story, but I can't draw. That's okay. That's okay, brother. That's okay. Just keep writing. I feel like the hardest part is the writing. It would seem like that the other, because you could get you could get folks to draw, or you could start to learn how to draw too, right? If you really want it. It's on console and PC. Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider in Midnight Suns looks weird. You think so? I can draw a little and have written. Yeah, I mean, one thing I would love to do is learn how to draw digital drawing, because I think I would fare better because I have more access to the colors instantaneously, things of that nature, and making corrections. But I don't know. But yeah, just do your thing, brother. That's it. I learned that your character can be OP, but they need to be relatable. Yes, exactly. So, uh, this is yes, and this is why I love Adam Bashir. Like all of my favorite characters are my favorite because I relate to them in some type of way. You know what I mean? Writing is tough because oh wait, I skipped the comment. Yes, it's supposed to be gross, right? It looks like a lighter, three heads, three flames on his head. Um, or like like kind of like Mohawky type of thing. King says writing is very tough because you need to have the imagination and control to make the story you draw in. Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's difficult. Like for me, I've been create like the writer's block thing is real. Like I remember all my characters as if I create like they're of course I remember them because I created them, but it's so funny that when you create a character and you create a universe around them, it's so clear, right? Um it's so clear. And this is why some people have the meta questions about character and world building because it's like, are you creating a character based on your subconscious, and are we versions of someone's subconscious? It gets very meta, right? Like the person who wrote our story, right? Um, are we facsimiles of their subconscious because we're part of the story, kind of thing? Um, I mean, which would lead into like God and things of that nature. But yeah, my problem is keeping the story on track. Mine's too, right? Mine's too. Mine's too. I'm not gonna lie to you. Mine's too, JW. My MC is a character I've worked on for years, and I decided. See, for me, mine is multiple characters. So I've thought big, and there's no turning back because I already started one of the characters, and yeah, yeah, there's no going back. Been writing like the characters world building is like part and parcel to me. Are you are you taking guess it would be easier to explain it versus typing it? Um, I am typing it right now. As I'm typing, that's where the flows happen, right? I don't know how to describe it. The flows just happen as I'm typing, and because mine is a martial arts story, and it's kind of sounds Avatar-y a little bit. The intention was not to be like Avatar, but it kind of feels like Avatar, but the characters are just vastly different in terms of like everything that's going on. Oh, top five Marvel characters. Adam Bashir, the Blue Marvel. Forget Me Not, who is a mutant character who is in a constant state of existential superposition, meaning that folks can't remember that he's there, but he is there. Um, Next is Cyclops of the X-Men, and those are my top three. Beyond that, now, not too sure. Yeah, not too sure. Because then after that is like a lot of different characters that I just enjoy. Uh, but those are kind of like my top three. Oh, both of yours are, but I only could talk. That's probably shit. I mean, explain it to you all. Both of mine are martial arts and spiritual stuff. Yeah, mine dives into it too, into some degree. Um, but it's like me. My book is like me pouring out all my philosophy, everything that I've learned, um, and guidance into characters who happen to have abilities and study martial arts, as like a passage of like storytelling, but also um, guidance as well. In my story, all mythologies and races exist. Nice. Yeah, not mythologies, but all races exist in mine too. JW says I deal with gods on a Native American heritage and Japanese demons and zombies, but not zombies. Oh, okay, that sounds pretty dope, brother. That sounds dope. Mine are Black Panther. Okay, Josh says my favorite characters are Black Panther, Angel, Brother Voodoo. Ooh, nice. Angel from the X-Men. That Angel. That's pretty dope. That's a nice. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I just have a lot of characters after my top three that I really enjoy. I mean, my bad. Sorry, I just forgot about some of my characters. Next one is gonna be my number four. Oh, okay, the X Men Angel. My number four is Beta Ray Bill. I forgot. I have like a whole lineup. My top five. But that's my four. My fifth one. Why can't I remember if there is a fifth? It probably stops there. Um, Adam Bashir, the Blue Marvel, Cyclops of the X Men, Forget Me Not, and Beta Ray Bill for sure. Those are that's my team. My team. Um, oh, and my fifth. Yo, I'm losing it today. I do have a top five. Is is Manifold. Manifold. Erefese is my fifth. That's my five. That's my core five. Um, if I had to put it in order, it would be at Adam Bashir, Forget Me Not. Well, it was in the order. That's why. Forget Me Not. Uh, Manifold is a mutant who has a mutant ability to talk to the universe and bend it to his will. They confused him as a teleporter, but he does way more than teleportation. He can bring whatever he wants from the universe to him if he has sight of it, or yeah, or the imaginative understanding of it. He can bring it. So when they were going against um, basically a version of No, he brought a portion of the sun to him because, symbiotes, they don't like fire. So imagine bringing the sun. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, King. Yep. King said it, put it at the same time as I was saying it. Yeah, he should be considered a Omega, but they haven't considered him Omega yet. But they're starting to change the like who is, because Sync just became an Omega level mutant. They now classified him as Omega level mutant, which makes sense. But Manifold, yeah, he's definitely. If I'm looking up, it's because I'm looking at a book of him in Sword. That's my favorite iteration of Manifold. Him in Sword was pretty amazing. Professor, what's going on? Yeah, exactly. I agree with that, King. But yeah, that's my top five. Adam Bashir, the Blue Marvel, Forget Me Not, Cyclops of the X-Men, Beta Ray Bill, and Manifold. Just got up. I hear you. Did I miss any comments? But yeah, he's really powerful. Yeah, and as you can see in my characters, all of my characters are not like the most powerful characters. Some of them are quite powerful though, right? Um, but it's just that I relate to each of those five characters in a lot of different ways. So, because Sync is the most powerful mutant, if I remember correctly. I don't know if he's classified as the most powerful mutant, but he is really powerful. But I could see there's other characters beating him if he's not able to like sync with their abilities. But he's been shown to use people's abilities better than them, um, which is pretty amazing. And he no longer needs to sync. If he's synced with someone again, he can recall their abilities. Let me see. Who's sync again? He's a mutant. He's a mutant who has the ability to sync with other mutant abilities. I forgot. Is it only mutant abilities he can sync with, or can he sync with just meta humans in general? I forgot. No, no, he could. Yeah, it's not just mutants, right? Because didn't he sync with Miles Morales recently? If I'm not mistaken. Uh, that's an X Men annual that has Firestar in it. If my memory serves me correctly, he's like Parasite. No, I would say Parasite is more like Rogue in some type of way, without the hunger. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He could. Yeah, he could sync with anyone. Yeah. I think this is why I didn't like the combination in Dugan's run. I'm looking at Dugan's run right now. Dugan's run, they had Sync and Rogue on the same team, which I thought didn't really make sense. Um, but both of their characters are a little bit different now. Rogue can now she can drain someone's power from a distance away now, which is pretty cool. Um, I forgot how many like feet away she can do it, but she doesn't actually need to touch the person anymore. She does, but she doesn't need to, right? it depends. Um, but yeah, Sync any character that has like power copying abilities, I don't think they should be on the same team with Sync. I think it's it's kind of foolish. Yeah, and the thing is, it's not like all right. It's not like he needs to. So he does. So does she have more control? She does have more control than she's had before. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, which is pretty cool. Um, in the current comic books, they've shown her a lot with like Gambit, which is pretty amazing, and their interaction with Irene Adler is just absolutely amazing. Irene Adler is Destiny, which is the lover of Mystique, right? But I love how Irene Adler talks to Gambit. She's like, "What are you doing with my daughter?" Right? Because she does. Irene Adler does refer to Rogue as her daughter, and there's a panel where they're talking and they're getting at each other. Gambit is getting at Destiny, and Destiny is getting at Gambit, and she's like, "Listen, if you do anything, like if you hurt my daughter, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z." And they end up fighting some people in the bar, and Irene, Destiny, who's Irene Adler, she could kind of she's a precog, right? So immediate things, she has precognition that is on point, right? For things in the far future, she can see divergent versions of it, right? So she's like dodging things and moving out the way, and like Gambit and Rogue are like fighting these people in the bar. It's amazing. It's some good writing. I wish I could show you some of those panels, but yeah, it's really good. Um, it's also dangerous because they could accidentally cancel each other out. I wonder, yeah. Is she a new Destiny? Wasn't Destiny's name different from the 80s? No, from my understanding, it's always been Irene Adler. Yeah. But like they're in the Krakoa era, um, she did pass away, and Mystique was seeking means to resurrect her. But it seems like her main love, her wife, her everything, Mystique's wife is Destiny. That is like her love interest, and the storytelling is amazing between the both of them. So I'm digging it. But yeah, all right, guys, I hit that mark. Uh, this was a really, 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 really fun live. Loved reading all of the stuff when it comes to Defenders Beyond. I'm gonna try it next weekend. Try to hit up at least two different books, right? Probably gonna get into some Photon so that we could try to make connections with the Defenders Beyond, because I think there are connections. I only say there's connections because it's created by Al Ewing, and then in Photon we get a chance to see um, the Beyonder again. So it's pretty amazing. Hey yo, I'm fine with that. Mystique is a baddie. She is a baddie. Um, and I'm gonna try to do Sins of Sinister as well. Yeah, I can't remember. I remember that yep, was cremated, then ashes blew. I'll be back later if you're still on. I'm about to hop off, brother. Right now, I just hit that 1:30 mark. I think I've been on for an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, just about. But I appreciate you guys. This was definitely fun. I don't know if I'm gonna live this week, but I most likely will live um, this coming weekend. Sundays, I'm definitely gonna be living around this time, 12:30, 12 o'clock to 12:30. 100%. And but if I do a live, it's going to be a combination of a trivia and also a versus battle as well. It'll be titled versus battle with the two characters we're versing and debating on. Because I want to get back into that where folks get to pop in and just basically say they have 3 minutes to talk about a character and to debate about a character. We did that a couple weeks ago, and oh man, it was so fun. I know. I would love to do the comic book talk every day again. But until things at work get kind of like calm, I don't want to overwork myself, right? And then I'll get back into it for sure. And my vacation, I do have a vacation coming up in about a week and a half from now or 2 weeks from now. So during that time, I'll be doing some lives. Also, if you haven't already, check me out on YT, right? Because I can't say YT because I mean I can't say the full word. Because I'm gonna be doing some gaming lives over there. I might even do one today, to be honest. So go over there, hit me up, hit the notification bell so that you know when I'm going live, and you could see all the awesomeness, right? On my YT. So it was nice. Life gets in the way sometimes. Yeah, it does, brother. It does. And I'm just trying to be careful to not let my love for one, comic books and geek talk and all of that stuff, be watered down. I want to do it while like my spirits are high because that's when I'm having my most fun. But anyway, with that being said, this is Zen from Zen Multiverse, saying peace, love, and prosperity. If you're enjoying the content, you already know what to do. Keep commenting, keep sharing. Uh, and check me out. The link tree is in my bio, so that way you can see all the platforms that I'm on. And yeah, and if you want to support the channel in different ways, there's some other links there too as well. But everyone have a wonderful and amazing, amazing, amazing Sunday. Today I'm going to be releasing either one or two videos later on, and that's going to be on the Predator series. Going to be wrapping it up. So comment. I'm going to do a video, and then I'll say things like type in part whatever for the next one, and then so comment and then share the video. But I'm going to finish off the series on the Predator series. There is a playlist so that you could see the whole rundown if you're inclined to. All right, later, everyone. That wasn't the button. That wasn't a button either. Later, John. Later, later, JW. Later, Superman 20. Later, everyone who. Later, King. Later, everyone who came in. I appreciate you guys. All right, I'm out.